This is Ag Matters PM from the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network, brought to you by the Iowa Soybean Association, your daily recap of the information that affects Iowa's farmers, producers, and consumers, right here in the heart of the heartland. With reports from our award-winning broadcast team of Dustin Hoffman, Riley Smith, and Mark Magnuson. Now, from the IARN studios in Des Moines, here's Dustin Hoffman.
Good day, everyone, and welcome to Ag Matters PM from the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network. I'm Dustin Huffman. Today is Wednesday, October the 9th, 2024. So glad you could join us today. Coming up a little later on in the program, we're going to talk with Kenan Layden of agmarket.net to get the closing market numbers. But first, let's kick things off and talk with the folks at Pattern Ag about their new merger with Earth Optics and what that means for producers. Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network here in Boone, Iowa. Talking right now with Mike Tweedy of Pattern Ag. Thanks so much for taking some time to talk with us today.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, so here at the Farm Progress Show, what kind of things are you talking to farmers about here at the Pattern Ag booth?
Well, really exciting stuff. We've got a new partnership with Earth Optics, and what we do is we look at the entire 360-degree view of the soil, and what that does is that informs really important decisions such as nutrient recommendations, tillage prescriptions, as well as a complete crop planning tool based on risks that are in the field.
So when we think about all of this precision information we need, I mean, we're looking at right now, input prices are high, market prices are low, so making sure that you squeeze every dime where it needs to be squeezed and do it right is very core to what we need to do, and you guys are able to help with that.
Yeah, that's precisely what we do is, a grower is going to spend X number of dollars per year on an input on a crop. And so what we want to do is we want them to be able to make the most informed decisions based on the risks that are out there, such as corn rootworm, soybean cyst nematode, sudden death syndrome, red crown rot, things like that, so that they can choose the right hybrids, traits, varieties, as well as seed treatments that they need to maximize the yield that they're going to get off of that field. And so what we call it is a risk-based crop plan.
All right, so let's say I'm a farmer looking to work with Earth Optics and Pattern Ag here to make the most out of the situation I'm in my operation. What's the first step? How do things get rolling?
Well, we would invite you to go out, speak with one of our dealers. We'll put you in contact with one of our dealers, and they are the trusted advisor who can provide these services to the growers. And then all we have to do is map your field, and then we'll come out, we'll get samples on the fields, and then we'll turn those results back around in about 2 weeks for everything from prescription tillage recommendations to high resolution, high density nutrient recommendations, and a complete crop plan built specifically for that field based on the biological risks that are in that field.
All right, so going back to the whole operation of I'm the farmer here, and I'm looking at investing in this technology to help get a better return on investment. What kind of return on investment are farmers able to see tangibly that they're going to be able to see some savings or see some at least financial efficiency on their field?
Yeah, it's interesting. We've run analysis on fields here in central Iowa, and we actually built a soil productivity index model that says on average, you're going to lose about 5 bushels on soybeans to nutrients. You're going to lose about 4 to 5 bushels on biofertility. So we can actually inform where they're going to lose money on based on the risks that are on that field. So it's a very simple return on investment calculation that gets made. Again, we're not going to tell somebody they're going to spend more or less, but we're going to tell them or show them exactly where they need to spend that dollar so that they can get the maximum return on it. Because in a down market, in a low commodity market, the only way that you're going to get ahead is higher yields. And so based on our risk-based crop plan, we can help achieve a higher yield.
I know we've heard so many stories, unfortunately, in a year like this where farmers are obviously cutting corners in some areas, and cutting corners isn't necessarily a good idea. It's being efficient with it. And maybe you can scale back in one area, but then you can reinvest it in another area and make the same kind of wise investment. But yet, as you said, the name of the game is getting the yields back, because if you can get high yields at a $3 or $4 corn market, that's a big difference.
It's a huge difference in the amount of profit that you're going to pull off of that farm. If you can improve yields, in some cases we see where growers are leaving about 17 bushels of soybeans, about 20 to 30 bushels of corn on the table because they're not aware of the risks that are out there, and they're able to reallocate the spend to where it needs to be. Additionally, when it comes to tillage, we can run till mapper over that field, and we can show them specifically where they need to till because of where they have compaction and where they don't. And so that's a huge cost savings in fuel and capital.
So obviously we don't know what next year is going to hold. We don't know what Mother Nature, disease pressure, past anything is going to hold. And so that always changes year to year. I mean, beginning of this year, we thought we were going to have a slow recovery from a drought. We made it up in 3 weeks. And so obviously you need to be able to adapt. You need to be able to kind of remind our Iowa viewers, listeners, why it is so important they really consider this operation with Earth Optics and Pattern Ag, and where they can really, make the most bang for the buck and justify it in the climate we're in right now economically.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it's information that can lead to the highest soil productivity on each field that you have out there. And the only way you're going to know that is by looking at the physical, the chemical, and the biological aspects of what's happening in that soil to get those extra bushels. Mother Nature's going to do what she's going to do, but if you know what the risks are going into next season, then you can mitigate that with the right crop plan.
So where do they learn more about Pattern Ag and how they're involved in this partnership?
Yep. So you can go to pattern.ag. You can also go there and pull up our 2024 Predictive Ag Report, which is free, very interesting read. And then we'll get you in contact with one of our Pattern representatives in the field, and then in contact with a Pattern dealer. If you're interested if you're a trusted advisor, crop consultant, seed dealer, and you're interested in becoming a Pattern dealer, please contact us, and we'll have a regional sales manager get in contact with you.
All right. Well, Mike, we thank you so much for the information. Appreciate it.
Thank you for your time.
And you can learn more by visiting the Pattern Ag website. Now let's go ahead and take a quick break and hear from our sponsor, the Iowa Soybean Association and the Soy Checkoff. When we come back, we'll talk with Kenan Layden of agmarket.net. This is Ag Matters PM.
Iowa Soybean Association is driven to deliver for Iowa's 40,000 soybean farmers. We're proud to provide objective agronomic research, a helping hand with soil and water stewardship, and timely industry news powered by the Soybean Checkoff. Learn more at iasoybeans.com.
It's time now for the Ag Matters PM Closing Market Summary, your source for market analysis and settlement prices from the day's trade in Chicago, courtesy of the folks at agmarket.net. We're back here on Ag Matters PM and talking right now with Kenan Layden of agmarket.net here on this Wednesday. And Kenan, what do we see happening in those grain markets today?
Yeah, kind of just a consolidation day here ahead of the report. Beans and corn were up. Beans and wheat were up slightly. Corn was, pretty flat on the day. Beans caught some support at that 50-day moving average after the big move down. And, wheat was boosted a little. There was some Algerian news on some wheat tenders there. And Russia had tendered some wheat at higher prices than they had in the past. So that could lend a little support to that wheat market.
So any major previews that we're thinking we're going to see out of that report this week?
Yeah, Wednesday on Friday, historically, they haven't changed yield that much, but that's what everyone's going to be looking at. If they're going to do a reduction in soybean yield, possibly, crop conditions have remained really strong. So there's some arguments against them reducing it on this report. However, they have, from the analyst expectations, made reductions in like 9 out of the last 10 reports. So soybean yield is something to look at right away when you get that report to finally open for you. And, corn, same thing, conditions have held good. So maybe we don't see a reduction yet. And, a little split there on what analysts expected and what the report has done. But historically, hasn't been a huge yield up or down mover on this report.
All right, and then moving over to the livestock side of things, Kenan, what did we see coming out of those cattle and hogs today?
Yeah, livestock and market was under pressure today. A down day, and technicals have remained strong for all the livestock markets, but they are in some overbought territory here. So maybe the market's just taking a breather here after some strong showings. Those front months are trading, near where cash is traded in the United States. So, they're right in line with it. There's not a big discrepancy between the, cash indexes and that front month October price here.
So now what has been really lending itself, though, to that strength in the markets, and especially livestock? I mean, cattle we know has been riding high for a while, but pork usually doesn't always go this crazy in the fall. I mean, higher. I mean, we did see it go a little bit lower today, but is it just been consumer demand that's still remaining strong, or is there other things that are affecting that?
That's a good question. All the fundamentals that would be affecting this, cash is trading higher, so there is increased demand at some points. Exports have been good at some points this fall, and then, the dock worker strike probably lent a little bit of a boost with less imports of pork coming in. And pork is a cheaper protein substitute if people are looking for one of those.
All right. Well, if folks want to think about some of their market strategies or think about what they want to do for, it's not too soon to be thinking of that 25 crop already, or maybe want to make some changes what they've got in their 24 plans. How do they get in touch with agmarket.net?
Yeah, check us out on the web at agmarket.net. Check out our market information and look for a broker in your area.
All right, Kenan, thanks so much for the insight. We'll talk to you again real soon.
Thank you.
And that again was Kenan Layden of agmarket.net. Let's go ahead and take a look at the closing numbers on the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network market screen. At the close, December corn was up a quarter cent at $4.21 even. Soybeans up 4 cents at $10.20 and a quarter. Soybean meal down $1.80 at $3.21.20. Soy oil down 3 cents at $43.06. Chicago wheat up 4 1/4 at $5.99 even. Kansas wheat up a nickel at $6.08 3/4. Minneapolis spring wheat up 3 1/4 at $6.48 1/4. Oats down 1 3/4 at $3.87 1/4. And we're looking at the Mercantile Exchange. Live cattle down 27 cents at $188.20. Feeders down $1.05 at $249.27. Lean hogs down $1.60 at $75.57. Pork cutouts down $1.10 at $89.90, and Class 3 milk down 4 cents at $22.58. And that's been a check of our market recap, and that brings us to the end of today's show. You can find all our content online at iowaagnet.com, as well as follow us on Facebook, X, and on our YouTube platforms. Make sure you subscribe and hit the bell icon here so you can be notified each time we put out a new video project. Also, don't forget about the free 3 times daily market podcast with analysis sent right to your mobile device free of charge. The mornings, middays, and closing market numbers. From the iAron studios in Des Moines, I'm Dustin Huffman. For Mark Magnuson, Riley Smith, and Andy Peterson, thank you for watching. This has been Ag Matters PM.